Welcome back everybody to Desktop Inventions. Now it's my first video back in a while, and today we're going to do a little project on a 3D printed Tic Tac Toe board. And don't get me wrong, it's not just any 3D printed Tic Tac Toe board. We're going to throw a couple twists in there. We're going to do some multicolor printing, do some embedded magnets so the pieces stick to it automatically. And you know, recently I 3D printed this for my nephew as a Christmas present. I guess not too recent then. But he absolutely loved it, and if he's any indication, I think others are going to like it too. So that's why I want to share this idea with you. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So first, let's talk about printing this lid. So this lid prints face down like this, and it has some good things about it and some bad things. So the bad things are there's 9 individual squares here. And if you have any issues with bed adhesion, you're going to struggle with this lid. So just like this one shows here, even if one square messes up, it kind of messes up your whole print. And you have to print them 9 individually until the layers build up where this is all one connected piece. So the good thing about this lid is it's really great to use for troubleshooting and fine-tuning Z-axis adjustments. And you can see there's 9 individual squares. So you can just go from one square to the next, fine-tuning your settings or even switching out filament materials. So it's been a while since I've done some printing, and I have a bunch of old filaments that have been sitting out for a while. So I started out with this blue color, and it was not sticking at all to save my life, even after washing and cleaning the bed with soap and alcohol, all the above. Couldn't really get this to stick. So while I was just printing off these consecutive squares, I switched over to some white filament that was getting better, but it wasn't quite there. And then I was able to switch over to this green filament, and this one was doing pretty well. Except here my Z-axis was a little bit too close. So then I just started adjusting that setting as I went onto each square, and this one got better. Then finally I got it tuned in and dialed in just right. So I really like this these different squares as troubleshooting and fine-tuning as you go. It's a pretty quick and simple print to get through that troubleshooting process. Alright, so here we're doing the dual color print. Start off with the green layer, and then I just swap the filament over to the white. So we're going to have a green top and a white base. See how that looks when it's done. Alright, let's go ahead and see how this turned out. We have a little bit of warping under this corner. The other ones actually look fine though. So there is our green top. So I did a green top and then a couple layers in, I switched it to the white. So you can see there that we have the green squares with the white borders in between. You can pick any colors that you want. You can probably pick a better color combination than me. This isn't a super great color, but I think it looks fine. So next up here, we're going to be embedding magnets in the back of this piece. All right, super important message here. Whenever you're putting magnets in, especially in this big lid piece, pay attention to the polarity or which way you flip the magnets when you put them in. I was doing a version of this lid where all the magnets were printed in place, and I ended up having a couple that were flipped around backwards. And then when you go to put your pieces on, they wouldn't align. It was cocked off to the side, so I had to scrap the whole thing, throw it away, rip it apart, get all the magnets out. Don't do that. So pay attention when you put the magnets in. The little pieces, if you put these in backwards or wrong, that's not too bad. You can just scrap these little guys, print a new one. But this big piece, be careful. So in the 3x3 grid, you can see we have 2 magnet locations on each one. Those are going to be used to set the pieces and make sure they're aligned properly and within the squares. And then I've got 4 on the corners here. Those are going to be to attach the lid to the base. So what I like to do is just take a whole stick of magnets. These are 3 millimeters in diameter by 3 millimeters in height. And you take the whole stick and you just press them in there one by one, and it'll probably go in there part way. Then you can go through and use your fingers or a tool to press those in all the way. And if you're having any problems with those magnets falling out, you can always hit them with a dab of super glue. That'll hold them in place. And if you can't get them in there, you can hit it with a lighter to soften up the PLA, and then they'll press right in there. All right, we got the base printed out here. Put a little brim on this one, and it is super flat. So I'm gonna rip this off later, clean up the edges, and yeah, decided to put a green base on this one. So that will, you know, sort of match our green lid here. So now at the base and the lid, inside we have a cavity. We can put in the X and O pieces later. And the X and O pieces are done. So I made two versions of these. These ones I made open bottom. There's a little bit of support material in there we can take out. And then I made a closed bottom version. So with the closed bottom version, you can stop the print a few layers in, put your magnets in there, embed the magnets, and keep the print going. But this one is just the open bottom version, so it's a lot easier. You just print a bunch of them out, and you take your magnets and you can press them in these cutouts, and you're done. And here's how you'd embed the magnets in the parts during the middle of the print, and then we'll resume the print and finish. And there we go, the completed Tic Tac Toe set. So we can open up the box here. We've got all the pieces stored inside. Then we're free to play a game of Tic Tac Toe. And just like that, we have all the pieces perfectly aligned. Then once you're done, you can pack it up into this nice little tray here. And you're good to go. So there we go. That's going to wrap up the Tic Tac Toe print for today. I highly recommend, if you have someone at home that would love this print, just go for it. It's a fun little print and you might learn something along the way. So until then, we'll see you next time at Desktop Inventions.
Subscribe.
There you go. So next time you roll up on your buddies and everyone has pencils but no paper, you can just pull out your Tic Tac Toe set and you're going to be the coolest guy in the room. No one's going to be bored then, I'll tell you what. Have fun.